Hi there, welcome back to David at Go Tobbies. Right, regarding the aircraft that crashed in Louisville, Kentucky, I think I've pronounced that right, killing all the crew and killing and injuring people on the ground. I wish to offer my sincere condolences and prayers and thoughts to everyone that's affected in this tragic event. That's the first thing I'd like to say. And because people need answers, and with all due respect, I have, as an aviation photographer, I've probably taken pictures of this aircraft on more than one occasion, landing at East Midlands Airport, Castle Donington. I love aviation photography, and it's such a shame when you hear such a disaster like this and such a tragic event that people lost their lives. It's a tragic event when anyone loses their life. But I feel that what was the cause behind it? That's the question I'm asking. And obviously, an engine failure could have impacted the other engine on the other side, which could have been due to the turbine blades shearing off or disintegrating and going across from one side of the aircraft to the other, which caused a catastrophic failure of the other engine. I'm not an aeronautical engineer, but it just seems to me what's caused this. I find out that they've grounded all the fleet of that type of aircraft. Now, it's too early to speculate. Was it poor maintenance? We don't know. Bear with me for a second. Sorry about that. But things just don't happen without a reason. And I first thought, would it have been a bird strike? But no, not with a complete engine falling off the aircraft and the catastrophic event that carried on from that, the aircraft crashing. I've lost all faith in ever flying in a plane. I could never do that, not now. I know it's the safest form of travel compared with like air miles to road miles and stuff like that. And yeah, that's very reassuring. But what the difference is between being on the ground, you haven't got nowhere to fall, right? And when something like this happens, right, it is almost like you've got no physical control over the events, which makes it worse. So for me, I can never fly. It's not. It's just that I don't trust the aircraft abilities to um, fly safely. There's been many occasions where aircraft have crashed. This is not the first one. It won't be the last, unfortunately. But I'd be interested to find out what, after the investigation and the full report, because they will take every minute scrap of information and rebuild this aircraft and to ascertain what actually caused this. But the fireball that ensued on the crash was totally devastating because you got a lot of fuel and that would have ignited, as you saw, and it had been an inferno. And whatever, how do I put it? If the pilots or the crew did survive the impact, the fireball would have killed them. And I could say it won't be it would have been almost instantaneous. Well, I like to think so. And it was such a traumatic event, and you think to yourself, what's caused it? What really has happened here to cause that aircraft to crash? A lot of people are asking questions, rightly so. But as an aviation photographer, I don't like to see anything like this. I've witnessed a few near misses. And it just makes me wonder that they try to do so much to make the skies safe, which is brilliant, but, excuse me for a second, but what makes me concerned is the mechanics of the aircraft. If the aircraft literally fell off, and it's been known that the pylons that hold the aircraft, the pylons that hold the engine to the aircraft fail through perhaps G-force. It could have been a contributing factor, but we don't know. I can't speculate what caused it because I just don't know. But is it because it's because the age of the aircraft, 34 years? It's fairly old, but these aircraft have been flying for millions and millions and millions of miles, and with a good safety record. But the problem is, it's not anymore, is it? So I hope they do find out what really caused this aircraft to crash and the tragic loss of life. And it should never have happened. I know they will do a very thorough investigation and piece together all the evidence. They've got the black boxes. But unfortunately, it won't bring people back to life, will it? Such a traumatic and upsetting event. And my thoughts and prayers for the families of everyone involved. And it's just, I wish it could have been prevented. I wish it could have been picked up on what really caused this. But sometimes I feel in our society, they only act after the event instead of preventing it from happening in the first place. I'm not accusing anyone. It's not an accusation either. It's just like, could they have done this or could they have done that? And would it have been picked up earlier if they'd done something different to what they had done? Is it because the airframe's old? We don't know. Lots of questions need to be asked. One of the questions, should there be a life year limit on aircraft flying instead of letting him flying for 34 years? Should there be a maximum age of aircraft able to be flown safely? Because you get metal fatigue, you get, things that get old. I mean, the sheer stress the aircraft must go through on taking off and landing and flying, you know, expansion and contraction, and the G-forces of landing and taking off, and, you know, not only that, the weather, how the weather affects aircraft and stuff like that. Makes you wonder. There's a lot of questions unanswered, and I hope we get to find out what's caused this, and hopefully it will never happen again. And hopefully this tragic event will never be repeated. But I do feel, my opinion is this: prevention is better than cure. So perhaps a more rigorous preventive maintenance, and especially with airframe age, could be a contributing factor. Who knows? Let's hopefully find out in the due course with this thorough investigation. But I'll end the video again with my sincere condolences and my prayers and thoughts for all the families and relatives, who is involved, and how it's affected them. So it's my little way of saying, you know, my thoughts are with you. So take care, everyone. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment, and thank you.